Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the World Theatre Festival podcast. You've got me here, Robbie. You've got Craig.
Hi, again.
And we've got our special guest, who is the writer and performer of I Am Perf. Got Luke Sookdeo.
Yes. Right.
First time.
I did have to tell him earlier on. He didn't just get it right the first time.
Absolutely fine. But I always think it's important to correct people.
Yeah.
So many people stay silent, don't they, when the
I
name's
know.
wrong? It's like, no, let me know if I've made a mistake.
Silence is violence.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So tell us, first of all, a little bit about you and where you've come from, because it's the World Theatre Festival. You're clearly not from the world.
Can you tell?
A little bit.
I do a really good Scouse accent, actually. But I guess Scouse and Wirral is different, right? There's a whole thing.
Ever so slightly. There is a war between us as like two
It's
clans.
Like it isn't. It's a silly one. But it's like it's when you go on holiday, people will say, "Where are you from?" And usually, if you say the Wirral, you could just see the cockroaches, the grasshoppers.
Well,
so if you say near Liverpool,
Yeah.
they go, "Oh, Liverpool," and that's usually. I think that's where it stemmed from.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people have always thought of themselves as posh if they live on Wirral, but
Yeah.
actually also love being associated as part of Liverpool. So it's kind of like a lot of people, and myself included, when I was younger, we pick and choose when we like to be. Well, we're from Liverpool. I mean, I think that's why they call it Liverpool City region.
Oh.
It's Liverpool and the surrounding area, but like, I mean,
We're included when it counts.
I love Liverpool. You know,
Yeah.
I spent my teenage years there. I think the thing is in Wirral, if you were North Wirral, which is where we are, kind of like towards New Brighton, Wallasey area, you always went to Liverpool because the buses all go straight there. But if you were South Wirral, which is kind of like if you know Bromborough, Ellesmere Port, kind of, you're nearer Chester, so a lot of
Okay.
people tended to go there for more like their shopping and their
Right,
days out and
okay.
things. But Liverpool's always been the more vibrant city. You know, it's
Yeah.
the powerhouse of the North.
Absolutely.
Whatever Manchester thinks, I think Liverpool is the powerhouse of the
I
North.
love Liverpool. There's
I
no
love
one like quite like a Scouser.
I mean, I love Manchester, but you need to know where everything is because it's
It's
so
so
big.
spread apart.
Whereas
Like,
Liverpool's like very concentrated.
It's true.
I mean, Birmingham's the same, isn't it?
Birmingham
Big
is-
city, but again, you've got to know where to go in Birmingham.
Exactly. I don't even know where I'm going. half the time.
Liverpool, you can't get lost, I don't think. Or if you can tell very quickly, oh, I need to turn around, I've left the centre.
Yeah.
And I love that
You can
about it.
tell really quickly, can't you?
Because it's derelict.
Yeah.
There's no
Pretty
lights on.
much, yeah. So anyway,
I went off on a major tangent there. Sorry, you asked me about me, and I just
yeah.
started
So
about
tell us
where
more
I
about
live.
you. So obviously you're from kind of the Birmingham area. Where
Yeah.
specifically is it?
I'm from North Birmingham. It's called Great Bar. If you don't
You've
know
got
it.
Travelodge there, haven't you? The Dunlop. Isn't that the Dunlop place? Is that Great Bar?
There is a Travelodge there. There's also a Holiday Inn. I don't know.
Like an old shop factory?
I don't know.
I travel the country. I'm just
Yeah,
Great Bar
well,
rings a bell.
wow. I don't know. But yes, that's where I'm from. And then my parents moved to like more of Staffordshire way, and that's where they live now. So that's where I go home and see them. But yeah, I'm a Brummie through and through. And then I moved actually to America for a few years to do my undergrad. So I moved to California. And then whilst I was there, like I went as a full-on Brummie. I had this accent, like proper like Brummie. And then
Lots of crazed looks from
everyone was like,
students.
where the is he from? Like, people would be, they'd be like, oh, are you
You
Australian?
don't speak British like we
No,
expect.
yeah, exactly. So I just had to adapt, and like I had a drum teacher, and she was like, you really need to like
You need to work on your
work
voice.
on it.
Oh, that must have been horrible to hear.
It was. I was like, oh my god,
What's
help
wrong with
me? So I just started talking a bit more neutral, but then I adapted this like really weird American twang. Like,
You didn't do what I did when I lived in Canada. I had the inflection, but still had
That-
my accent.
yeah.
So everything went up at the end.
Yes.
You sound like an idiot.
yeah, it really did. And now I certain things that I say sound like Scouts, like the inflection. So I don't know where I'm from anymore.
A
I don't know.
hybrid, a
It's a
hybrid
hybrid,
of
which is
fabulousness.
great. But
He's like me,
Liverpool's
he's a mongrel.
Yeah,
That's what they call me.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
hybrid.
So you've done some training in America then, and then did you come straight back, or?
Well, COVID happened, and
So
I had
is
to
that what brought you home
come
then?
back. Yeah, and then I was like, I really need to get back into it because COVID was tough on everyone. And then that's what brought me to Liverpool. I applied to LIPA and I did the MA there. And
I did the MA.
Yeah,
high
my
five
buddies.
for MA. Not the same year. I'm slightly older than Luke. So in fact, you're on
We
the
won't
new,
say how much, right?
the new MA. It's enough that you watch different children's programs. Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, Liverpool's definitely home now. I love it up here.
It's a great city, and
Yeah.
it's quite accessible to lots of other cities as well. So you're not just kind of confined to Liverpool, which I love about it. And everything's on the doorstep up here. I find I challenge anyone to say, tell me something I can't find within an hour. I think the only thing is a palace and a baseball stadium. Everything else within an hour you can find.
It's true.
Depends who you're speaking to. Some people think the Asda is a palace.
Oh, the Asda.
Isn't that very northern though? You call it the Asda.
I don't know where it came from.
No, it's the Asda.
Is it? Yeah.
Going down the Asda.
They call it the Asda. Like
it's
everything
not
has
the
a formal
Morrison.
title now. Like it is important.
And
like
it's
the
not
palace.
The Tesco's and
It's
everything.
big Tesco.
Yeah. Big Tesco
Tesco and the
Tesco.
Asda. Yeah,
Little Tesco and
But
the
you go the
Asda.
Asda. You go the Asda.
Oh my god.
So
I
it's
love
destination.
Asda.
But I did love them until he introduced their reward card, because what I loved about Asda was they didn't mess with club card points, they just had good cheap prices.
Yeah.
Now they've got like a little card
Oh,
where you
is
can
that
get
their
points and
way
money
of
off,
like...
yeah, getting to
putting
shop
things
there
off?
more, but I just love they didn't have to deal with that there. I could just go in and buy things for a good price.
Look what I've done.
Each their own. Anyway, this is not talking about your play, but this is the problem. Actors love to talk to each other. So tell us about your play title and just roughly what's it about?
What is it about?
That was the question.
Tell us, Luke. Tell us.
So this is the title.
Right,
We could
so-
do it like work in school. I
Okay,
could do it
let's
like
do that,
children
let's
if
do
you want. What's the title of your
So
play?
it's called I Am Purple.
Hey, now underline it. What's it about?
It's about a man who is purple. His name's Dexter, and
Literally.
so that's what you're gonna have to come and find out.
I like
don't,
it.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but purple is basically different, like to anything else. It's like imagine what difference means to you, and like how could someone be so different that they kind of see themselves as another colour, and purple is,
aura.
yeah, exactly. And when you think of purple, there are so many other colours that you can put into purple. There's lilac and there's indigo and there's violet and stuff like that. So when you think of like sexuality, it's a spectrum. There's all different kinds of sexualities and identities within that. So that's why I decided to use a colour. Also, because my play focuses a lot on shame and about like the elephant in the room and like having something there that is with you, but you don't want to acknowledge it until you're forced to. And so I don't know how I got on.
I think everyone's got something like that, haven't they? But obviously, whatever it is that affects someone can be bigger or smaller to everyone else, and it's relative to the individual, isn't it?
And that's why I think this play is more than just for one type of person, because everyone deals with insecurities or shame.
You're just exploring this character.
Exactly. So that's why I really resonate with this play, and I hope it resonates with other people as well.
And is it just purple, or may other colours make an appearance?
Other colours may make an appearance, yeah.
That's a bit of a theme with it.
It is a theme, and it's definitely because I've performed this show once before, and I definitely plan on delving a bit more into the world of being purple and what other colours mean as well in this world, because it was up to me to figure out whether being purple is just a metaphor or if the character is actually purple. Should I come on stage like properly like face painted in purple, like face paint and purple outfit? But I thought no, maybe that's a bit too on the nose.
The only issue you got is my dad's colourblind, so he might think it's blue as well.
Yeah, well there you go.
What is this guy playing at, He's misleading us. I want a refund.
It should be I
You might think he's coming to a police station, but he likes everything.
Yeah.
What made you want to write this play? Because obviously we all do carry things about us, but most of us kind of just deal with our own stuff. What made you feel it's worthy of a story to be told?
Well, as a theatre maker, I think when you find your calling, it becomes like life or death, right? And so I was...
We're not dramatic, are we?
We're not dramatic! We don't... It's not like that. Yeah, so with this, and in the past, I've kind of shied away from being really truthful in my writing and in my performing, because it's scary, isn't it?
Like, you're bearing your soul.
You're bearing your soul.
Which is why a lot of people like to do it through a character. It's like, well, I'm playing a character, so you can decide if you think that is me
Exactly.
or is it just a character.
And you know what? That is why I did choose to do a character, not come out and do something as Luke, as like autobiographical, even though there are parts of the play that are
leads into
biographical and do lead into my own life. But this play, I just knew like I had to confront my own shame. Like, and I was reading this book called Straight Jackets by Matthew Todd, and he talks about the origins of shame and about how there are different types of shame. There's good, even though it might be hard to believe. There's good shame, which ends up teaching you right from wrong as from a child, and then there's like toxic shame, which is the shame you don't want, and that's shame that if you ignore it and you let it kind of fester, can lead to disastrous consequences. And this book, it talks about all the people that have let shame take over and where that leads them, and it was kind of like, wow.
They say similar things about like trauma, which again is shame, isn't it? Like if something happens as a child, it doesn't just leave you. You know, you might get better at dealing with it, but it will be with you long term.
Yeah.
Because it's a memory so embedded into you. Like, you know, I think my earliest memories, I remember a yellow bite for Christmas when I was 4 years old. And that stuck with me, and I can still remember it. I could vividly see that picture. So, and that's a positive memory. You must also get those for bad things as well.
Do you? Sorry, I was going to say, do you think that by creating a character and putting it out there, that you get to distance yourself from it and kind of use it as a bit of therapy for yourself?
As a third person, like looking back on yourself, the bits that you put into it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. That's quite deep, isn't it?
Sorry.
I'm going to have an extra question.
I'm asking for myself. I'm going to come to your play and I'm going to be putting all of my stuff straight onto your character. It's like, I get that right out.
Like, I mean, I always think, especially when it's a one-person show, like, we've got to be able to answer that question, like, what makes my story worthy of someone watching it over someone else's? Like, there is that bravery to kind of bare your soul, whether it's fictitiously or not, to say, like, this one character is good enough for you to come and watch. Do you know what I mean? You could take something from it.
Yeah, exactly. And Dexter, you know, there are similarities between me and the character, but there's also differences, and I wanted the chance to, like, be able to take the creative kind of liberties to put something in that isn't necessarily something I experienced or something that I go through, but it's not so far away from what I've experienced, so like I can draw upon that and you know, be truthful with that.
But that's the interesting thing about characters, isn't it? So when you put it out there, you can kind of aspire to be different things and explore different things that maybe you might not want to do interpersonally, because you know then that you're going deep.
Exactly.
Where if it's out there, it's a subject matter, it's much easier to tackle as a tool.
Yeah.
And is it sort of like a show to watch, or is there any kind of like interactivity? Because like single shows can be many different things.
Well, I knew I wanted to make it kind of a little bit interactive, but I didn't know how. So when I was having the idea for the play, I went to Edinburgh Fringe for the first time. I've never performed there. I've never
such a beast, Edinburgh Fringe.
My
I
God.
want to go, but I've still not.
Oh, you should. I'm gonna try and go again this year.
But last year, money though, isn't it?
It is expensive, and each show if you're not a performer, each show costs like 12, 13, 14 pounds. It is very expensive, but it is worth it. You know, once in your life to go. But I went and I was like, right, I'm gonna get some inspo, and what I found was like a lot of the shows, especially like one-person shows, do have a lot of audience interaction, and it really helps. You know, it gets the audience on your side. So I knew I wanted that in my play, so I did. And it helped me approach it, because I thought, how the frig am I gonna? I don't know if you can swear on this podcast.
Do whatever you want to do.
I'm like,
this one's not a family-based one. As long as it's not every other side.
No, see, I didn't know how to do it, but watching these artists like do it helped me. So
there's a bravery, because it's almost like an ad-lib part, isn't
it? You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if they're even going to come up on stage with you. You don't know if they're just going to like, I don't know, like, so
you always need a plan B. What if they just sit there perfectly?
Did you know what? And the first time I did it, there's a bit in the play where I give the audience, someone in the audience, my phone to take pictures of me, and she just
don't scroll through.
Exactly.
You should put one. A funny picture in there just to see if they check. You'll know from their face if they check. Oh, you saw it, didn't you?
Yes. But yeah, like she didn't want to do it, so I was like, right, pass it on to the next person. So yeah, you do have to have a plan B.
That keeps the play a little bit alive for yourself as well. You know, like when you do something that's been running for a long time, for example, it gets a little bit stale. If you've got elements like that in your play, that's just not going to happen.
Like, is there a way though to let audience know if there's a way you don't want to interact, make it aware so it's not awkward on both sides? Like I do a game in schools, because I do lots of theatre and education, and I say, right, I'm going to pick someone to be a witch, so you all need to bow your heads. I said, now not everyone loves this game, so if you think you don't want to be a witch, I'm going to say in a moment, show me you don't want to be a witch, and just make a little shark fin on your head. And I promise you, you will not be picked. But no one else will know you've told me that. So it's kind of almost like I give them license to tell me they're not comfortable without everyone else kind of going, oh, isn't it? Again, shame, you know, like don't pick me. Yeah. So I just wonder, like, is there
for every one of them, you've always got, it's me! It's got to be me!
Well, that's the problem.
Please!
It's like, who wants to do it? Most of them want to put their hands up. I want to make sure it's the ones who don't want to be put on the spot.
Yeah.
Can still enjoy the game within their own parameters and be part of it without having, again, that idea of shame. It just comes through all walks of life. Not even in a nasty way. Like, I mean, kids are nasty by nature because they just don't think what could be upsetting. Someone else like, why don't you want to do that? It's like, because
that'll be me on stage. Why don't you want to get up on stage with me?
Take my phone.
Yeah.
You're like, you've all got a number under your chair. Check your chair. Do a lottery ball or something. So if you had to sum up your play into like 3 words, imagine we're doing like hashtags or something, how do you think you would sell your play with 3 words only? What's it about? Like,
I think brave is one word that comes to mind, because it takes a lot of bravery just to do a one-person show. You know, you're standing on stage in front of an audience, just bearing your soul, whether it's as a character or as yourself, and that takes a lot of guts and a lot of balls. So brave. It's cathartic. It's healing for me and hopefully for other people. So I really enjoy that about this play. And then it's just like, it's silly. There are some really silly parts.
Not a darkness.
So brave, healing, and silly.
Exactly.
You're getting the full flavour there.
You really are. Like,
and you've kind of touched on it, Aaron, but just in case anyone's missed that little bit, like, sum up, like, why should someone come and see your play? We've got like 16 shows on. What do you think is the kind of selling point for yours? Why did yours stand out? And
I just feel like there's not a lot of things out there that confront shame as much as I'm doing. And I'm not trying to
welcome sinners one and all.
Exactly, like, and everyone relates to shame.
Yeah.
But we
don't like to acknowledge it.
We don't like to acknowledge it, and if people watch this play and they maybe feel like, well, maybe I have shame, but I'm not ready to not acknowledge it or confront it right now, that's totally fine. Like, if I can
opening doors.
Exactly, you know. Boxes. And the book that I was telling you about, that helped me acknowledge my shame, and maybe this play will help someone else find theirs.
Yeah, I think so.
And heal from it.
Amazing. I suppose the final thing is they need to know when and where they can catch your show. So can you remember it all?
I can try. I can definitely try. Okay. Yes. So you can catch I'm Purple on Wednesday the 28th of August at 7:00. At the Floral Pavilion in New Brighton as part of the Wirral Theatre Festival.
Yes!
We did it in one take!
And that is a wrap. Thank you everybody for listening, and just tune in next time. Don't forget you can also get the tickets for these either at the website, the Floral Pavilion. You can call them up as well. They've got a phone box office, or you can search our website, the wirraltheatrefestival.co.uk, where you can read more about Luke's show. You can also see any rehearsal footage as we get things. We're posting that, and just come and join us on that journey. So thank you everyone for listening, and bye for now.